Hi, my name is Adriana and today I'm going to do my quarterly book haul, stats, and goals check-in. There's a lot going on in this video, so buckle up and let's get into it. In that order, I'm going to start with my book haul. Many books were hauled in the first quarter of this year, and I've kind of split them up into three different categories. The first category is I didn't pay for them. We'll get more into that as we go through them. The second category is I got them in a book subscription box, and the third category is I just paid for them at like a regular bookstore. So we will start with the books I did not pay for, starting with ARCs from publishers. So the first one is Angel Maker by Alex North. I received this from Celadon Books. I signed up to be an ARC reviewer for them a couple months ago, and all of a sudden they just started sending me a bunch of books. This is some sort of mystery thriller. It also comes with a bunch of envelopes to open after certain chapters. So I do really want to get to this book just because of the combination of, I don't know, the intrigue, I guess, of like these little envelopes. I don't know what's in there. This sounds like matches almost. I don't know. Does this have a release date on it? Oh, this went on sale February 28th. So if you are interested in this book, you can go buy it now. The next book I received from them was If We're Being Honest. This seems like kind of a literary fiction novel with family relationships and neighbors doing weird things. I don't know, that's generally not my cup of tea, but at some point I may or may not pick it up, or I may unhaul it. I'm just not really sure who to unhaul it to. So I mean, if you are interested in this book, let me know and I might try to find a way to get it to you, because I can't really sell it or give it to my local used bookstore because they can't sell it. I don't know if you can donate it at a library. Can't really give it to Goodwill. I guess I could put it, there is a little free library in the neighborhood across the street from me, so that's probably okay. But this book comes out April 18th, so pretty close to when this video should be coming out. And the last book I received from Celadon, I don't know what to call it, but it is called Bird Girl, Looking to the Skies in Search of a Better Future. It is a memoir of a bird enthusiast and environmentalist. I'm actually really interested in reading this one. I do think I will actually pick this up. I don't know, I love a memoir. As I grow older, I really like birds. I don't know what it is about like getting older, but you just become into birds. Like your prefrontal cortex finishes developing and you're just like, birds. And this came out March 28th. So those were all my physical ARCs. As to more books that I received and didn't pay for, I got this special edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue as a wedding gift from one of my friends. So I am very excited to have this. It is a beautiful edition. I haven't checked the naked hardcover. Oh, ooh, look at that naked hardcover. Beautiful. It even has like a little ribbon bookmark. So this is a very fancy edition. So major shouts to my friend who got this for me because it is beautiful and I can't wait to read it. And then this last part of this haul was actually part of a vlog I put up a couple weeks ago. My mom, my sister, and I went on a little shopping spree in Barnes & Noble, and my mom was kind enough to buy me a couple books because she has never not bought me books. Since I was a little kid, I knew money didn't count for books. If I wanted clothes, I had to negotiate. If I wanted, to go on a trip, I had to negotiate. If I wanted, money for the movies or whatever. But books, I was never told no with a book, which probably explains my book buying habits. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So the first one I got there at Barnes & Noble was How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I read The Midnight Library 2 years ago. Was it really that long ago now? Wow. And I adored it. I love that book. I spread it around to all my friends, and all my friends love that book. So I figured I should probably try to read another one of his and just see what I think. This next one is Rule of Wolves, the second in the King of Scars duology. I have King of Scars in paperback, and I held off reading that one. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I held off reading King of Scars because I wanted to wait till the second one came out, which is not that weird, but I wanted to wait until the second one came out in paperback because I have the first one in paperback and I wanted them to match format-wise in paperback. So now that I have this, I feel like I can start King of Scars. And then finally, I picked up Kekai I've just heard a lot about this one and I really wanted to pick it up, and I love a floppy paperback. So last year I joined a lot of waitlists. Not a lot. I joined 2 waitlists for book subscription boxes, both Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, and I came up for both of them at like the same time, which was not super ideal. I was kind of hoping I could try one out for a while and just kind of see, but because the waitlists are so long, I am now paying for both of them at the same time because I don't want to lose out on being able to be a part of it, which may or may not be really dumb, but whatever. So I have a lot of special editions from both Fairy Loot and Illumicrate to get through. Also, Illumicrate went through a weird like shipping change where they started shipping out of a warehouse in the United States, and it caused a lot of weird back order issues. So I think I know a few of these Illumicrate books are actually from 2022 and not 2023, but I didn't receive them until 2023. So I'm still counting them as part of this quarter 1 book haul. Let's get into it. This first one, Song of Silver Flame Like Night. This was a more recent Illumicrate, but it's got beautiful sprayed edges, as will all of these. I really, really do want to get to this one soon-ish, so it is definitely up there on priority of TBR, but I know it's Chinese mythology and it is pretty. This next one is also more recent, and it is from the Afterlight box from Illumicrate, so it is a supplemental box to Illumicrate that you do pay extra for, and it's romance based and it comes with little trinkets and things. I'll get into this a little bit more during the stats portion of this, but I have decided to stop my subscription to Afterlight, but I do love a good romance, and the other Afterlight romance book that I read was incredible. So I am excited to get to this one. It seems like a sapphic romance. It's got sprayed edges. I don't know, it seems like it's got something to do with Hollywood. I know I'm gonna like it, and I will get into more about why I decided to stop this book box, but this is gonna be my last Afterlight book. The next one is the Foxglove King. I don't know if I'm going to read this one or not. I may or may not sell it on my Pango books, but it is really pretty. I mean, look at those edges. Jesus. I'm just not super duper interested in the description of this one. I can't remember what it was, but I remember when I read it, I was like, meh. Next up we have God Killer, and I actually did mention this in my spring TBR. I really, really want to get to this hopefully this month or in May. Again, beautiful, sounded super interesting. It's also fairly short, which I'm noticing a lot of these Illumicrate books are chunky. They're big books, and this one is not, which is great. This next one is still in the packaging because I don't think I'm going to keep it. This is Lies We Sing to the Sea, and it is supposed to be an Odyssey retelling, the Odyssey from Homer. And this was the one that kind of had a little bit of a controversy where the author admitted that she had never read the Odyssey. Having read the description, I think if I go ahead and read it, it's just gonna make me upset, because you can't claim to be a retelling of the Odyssey and then have no elements from the Odyssey. And I already put myself through that with Daughter of Sparta. Yeah, it was singular Daughter of Sparta, and that book was bad. Daughters of Sparta, good. Daughter of Sparta was bad. And I just don't have a whole lot of faith in this book. I haven't read many reviews yet. I don't know. I might read a couple of reviews and maybe change my mind, but if you want this, I will link my Pango bookstore below. And if it's on there, you can buy it if I decide I don't want to read it. Next we have The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. Beautiful. No notes. Incredible copy. This is actually the Fairy Loot edition, and it is so pretty. I actually need to talk to my local bookstore because I had her put in an extra order of this book for me. I don't know. I still might pick it up because I do think I like the American cover better. It's just like more colorful, but this is really pretty. So who knows, I might end up selling this one too, even though it is so pretty, because I do just kind of like the American cover better. And then finally for book subscriptions, we have The Red Scholar's Wake. I think this is one that was supposed to show up like last year but didn't show up till this year. But this is a sapphic space opera-y sci-fi looking thing, and I do really want to read this. I really want to be a sci-fi girly. I really struggle finding sci-fi I enjoy, so I'm hoping that this will be a really, really great sci-fi that will get me into the genre, but we shall see. And that is all of my book subscription books. So you can see there was a lot of them, but I received them all in this quarter. All right, and on to the last category of books of just, I purchased these. First of which is Phaedra by Laura Shepperson. I read this for the Silly Goose Book Club hosted by Noelle 7 Pages and loved it enough that I wanted a physical copy, so I went out and I bought one. The next one I got in a trip to Boise at a bookstore that I used to go to quite a bit, and that is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I really liked this cover and it was only $10, so I was like, sure, that's a big chunky book for $10. And then I got to the counter and it was only like $6 because apparently I had $4 of credit left over there from like 5-6 years ago, which was a dope little surprise. The next one I got was The American Roommate Experiment, the sequel to The Spanish Love Deception. This one I saw at Costco and it was only $11 for a somewhat new release, and you know, Costco money also doesn't count, and it's kind of floppy, and I like that. And I really enjoyed the first one. I am a chemical engineer by training, and I gave it to my coworker who is also a chemical engineer, so we both just really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think Rosie, the main character in this one, is also an engineer of some type, so I love engineer love. This next one I got from just my local indie bookstore, and that is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is on my goals for this year of books I want to read. I pick one big scary fantasy book to read every year. This is thick, it's chunky, it's epic high fantasy, it's gonna be intimidating, but I think I'm going to love it. And finally, I think when I was picking up The Shadow of the Gods, I saw this in the used section for $8.70, and it is Ball Lightning by Zixin Liu, and I don't know, I just heard a lot about Three Body Problem, recognized the author name, and thought, wow, this is a sign that I need to buy more books. But also, remember, I do want to be a sci-fi girly. I'm trying really hard to be a sci-fi girly. So those are all just the normal books I bought. So with that, let's transition into stats. Before we jump into the stats, please consider commenting and liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like bookish things. Alright, so here we are. This is kind of a weird angle, but we're just gonna go with it because I don't feel like fixing it. But this is my, I don't know, it's Google Looker Studio. So it is a free option from Google where it takes your data from basically anywhere and works it into nice graphs. Data visualization. It's a data visualization tool. I don't know why I'm making this so confusing and weird. It is a data visualization tool from Google that is free. I just have it connected up to my reading spreadsheet, and it can do all sorts of fun things. So right now this is showing a couple different statistics, graphs, whatever else, and it is showing it across my entire spreadsheet. So I need to do a couple of things to narrow it down to just this quarter, and one of those things is I just gotta click on Q1 2023 in this pivot table, and it'll pare down some of this stuff. Looking at Q1, I've read a total of 24 books, not bad, not bad. Looking at my genre breakdown, 25% fantasy, 20% mystery thriller, 5 nonfiction, 4 historical fiction, 12.5% sci-fi, and then 1 lonely literary fiction. I've read a total of 5,221 pages with my eyeballs, and I have listened to 86 hours of audiobooks. As of now, my physical TBR is at 46 books, not helped by the fact that, you know, I just did that giant book haul. And then I thought this was kind of an interesting graph to look at. So this is my total cumulative pages by date between the different years. Unfortunately, I'm still learning this software a little bit and I cannot figure out how to get the top to like line up nicely. So yeah, you can see this purple line is 2023, brownish something line is 2022, green is 2021, red is 2020, and blue is 2019. So you can see I am way ahead of where I was in the previous years. So that is really neat that I'm reading just a lot more than I have in the past. The reason for this little dip here is that I took a break from one book and quickly read another book, and it just kind of made for a weirdness in how the data was arranged. I'm not going to fix it. It just is what it is. So this price here is the total amount I've spent on books since I started tracking that, which was the beginning of 2022. So if we go down here to quarter, and we are going to do Q1 only, and then year purchased, it's going to be 2023 only. So that brings us to $293.05. And then this is the breakdown of where all of my books have come from. 5 of them have come from Pango Books, 4 from Illumicrate, 2 from Sandbox, which is the local indie bookstore in my hometown, 1 from Thrift Books, 1 from Costco, 1 from Afterlight, 1 from Fairy Loot, 1 from Barnes & Noble, and 1 from Rediscovered Books. So again, these are just books that I purchased, not books that have just come to me, but this is where I am spending my money when it comes to buying books. So those are kind of my general Q1 stats. So how am I stacking up against my goals that I set at the beginning of the year? So let me pull up my goals because I don't quite remember all of the little numbers. So my first goal was just to match my page count from 2022, which was 22,262 pages. So basically for that, all I need to do is multiply this 5,221 by 4, and that should give me a pretty good forecast for how I'm going to end up at the end of the year. Times 4 equals 20,884, which is not quite where I want to be at, but considering I am so much further ahead than I was in past years, I think just beginning of the year is not my fastest reading time. So I'm not concerned about this. I mean, technically I'm not forecasted to get to my goal, but I have a feeling that I will still be fine. My next goal was to read the Odyssey and the Iliad. I have my copy of the Odyssey, so I at least have that going for me, and I have picked out a copy of the Iliad or a translation of the Iliad that I would like to read. So I'm going to check around and see if that is in any of my libraries. If not, I will just buy a physical copy. And I might buy a physical copy anyway, because it would just be nice to have an annotated copy of the Iliad, considering so many of the Greek mythology retellings I read are based on that Trojan War story. So it'd be nice to have a physical annotated copy to refer back to. Next is to read Shadow of the Gods. Again, I own it, so that's a step in the right direction. My next goal was to reduce my physical TBR by 50%. So at the end of the year, my physical TBR was at 32 books, and it is now at 46. So instead of decreasing by 50%, I seem to have increased by 50%, which is not great, which is part of the reason I decided to cancel that Afterlight subscription. I just don't need to be taking in as many books. I do have some strategies as to how I'm going to achieve this goal, but I think it's going to come down to probably doing some major unhauling at some point and really cracking down and trying to prioritize my physical TBR over my library picks and other NetGalley things and whatnot, and maybe stop requesting stuff on NetGalley. My next goal was to reduce book spending by 25%. So we can see here in the first quarter, I spent $293.05. So again, just multiplying that by 4 to get a pretty close approximation of what I will end up spending. And that is $1,172.02. Again, this is pretty well above my $797.03 budget that I kind of wanted to set for myself. Again, I've bought a lot of books and I did not anticipate all of those book subscription boxes, and this was the major reason I stopped that Afterlight subscription. It was the most expensive book subscription that I had out of Illumicrate, Fairy Loot, and that one, mostly because there's no book only option for it. So I'm doing book only for Fairy Loot and Illumicrate. I don't really need the trinkets, and I mean the Afterlight comes with trinkets that I just don't really need. I have enough stuff. So, I mean, if Afterlight did come out with a book-only option, I might consider trying to get it again. But at this point, it's like $50 a month, or I guess every 2 months for the Afterlight one. And that is just a lot to spend on a pretty romance book. And then finally, my last goal is to keep my NetGalley score above 75%. I can't remember where I was at the end of last year when I set this goal, but I'm currently at 69%, so I'm getting pretty close. And if I can stop from going on request sprees, I should be pretty close to getting to that 75% and hopefully can maintain and, you know, keep myself measured when requesting books on NetGalley and stop from just doing huge binges of them. The literal day after I recorded this, I went on another request spree and proceeded to get approved for like 3 more books. So my feedback ratio is back down to a 62. That is all my goals. That is all my stats. So again, like I said, that is all my goals, my stats, where I'm at, all the books I've gotten in this first quarter. A lot has been going on. I'm pretty pleased with my progress, even though I'm not technically meeting any of my goals. I don't have any super big concerns at this point that I won't meet them, with the exception of my physical TBR. I am really nervous about that. As far as like money spent, I think I'm going to be able to make back some of that when I do sell my Illumicrate editions and stuff like that of books on Pango Books. I typically try to price them so I'm breaking even, just making back like that shipping cost. We'll see. I'll probably end up selling a couple of those Illumicrate editions just because I don't think I'm going to get to them, and they are very expensive for me to just not read them. But yeah, that is all I have for this video. Comment down below what kind of stats you keep track for on a quarterly basis. Are you meeting your goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? How's it going? What's going on? And thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.